We're looking at non-specific time words in this video tutorial, and those are words which cannot be located on a watch or a calendar. So they change depending on which day it is. They're words like this week, next week, yesterday, tomorrow, next year, and so on. Now, a couple of very simple rules. First of all, basically there are no rules. No particle is necessary. So you just pop the time word in, and that's that. Secondly, so long as the time word does not go after the verb, which as you know must go at the end of your sentence, then you can put the time word anywhere in the sentence that you like. Obviously, the more important that time word is in your sentence, the closer it goes to the verb at the end of the sentence, because that's where we put important information that we want to stress. On the other hand, if it's just a by the by, it was yesterday or tomorrow, then you'd put it closer to the beginning of your sentence. So let's start with today, and we're going to imagine that it's the 17th, a Wednesday. So there's today, and in Japanese that would be
今日、今日、
Now if we want to say today I will go to London, then we have two choices. 今日、London に行きます. Or if we're putting more emphasis on the fact that it's today and less that it's we're going to London, then it would be London に今日行きます. Next we have tomorrow.
明日、明日、
Tomorrow I will go to London. 明日、London に行きます. Or if I want to emphasize that it's tomorrow, London に明日行きます. Tomorrow. Next we have the day after tomorrow.
あさって、あさって、
So I will go to London the day after tomorrow. あさって、London に行きます. Or if you want to stress, no, I'm not going today, I'm going the day after tomorrow. London にあさって行きます. Next we have yesterday.
昨日、昨日、
So I went to London yesterday. 昨日、London に行きました. If you want to emphasize it was yesterday and not today, then it could be London に昨日行きました. Yesterday, 昨日. And finally we have the day before yesterday.
おととい、おととい、
So I went to London the day before yesterday. おととい、ロンドンに行きました. Or ロンドンにおととい行きました. And of course there's every day. Every day, so if you do something every day, that's
毎日、毎日、
毎日ロンドンに行きます. I go to London every day. Okay, those are the words when we're talking about individual days. They're quite complicated, and I recommend you just learn them. But we're now going to move on to week words, and there's a much stronger pattern there because all of them end in shu, and that makes them much, much easier, particularly as shu sounds a bit like an English word shoe, as in a pair of shoes, and we can use that image to help us remember the week words. Okay, so much easier for the week. And we're going to start with this week, and
今
that's
週、今週、
now if we just make a little story in our mind about shoes, and let's imagine that we don't have any shoes, so we have to borrow some. Where are we going to get them? Well, our friend Con, he's got lots of shoes, so this week we're going to be wearing Con shoe. Con shoe. Next week is
毎週、毎週、
and that sounds like lie and shoe. So perhaps we can imagine that those shoes from this week, from Con shoe, those shoes that Con lent us, they're really quite tired. They've been walking all over the place for a whole week. So next week we're going to get them to lie down and take a rest. So we're going to say to those shoes, lie shoe, lie shoe, lie shoe next week. Now, last week we had to do some planning because we had to get those shoes to us. So we actually had to send a message to Con, and we had to tell him, 先週, could he please send those shoe? Sen shoe, last week. And finally there's every week.
毎週、毎週、
And of course, every week we're worried about my shoe. That's what's on our mind. How are we going to get shoes for next week? How are we going to get shoes for last week? It's my shoe. That's the issue. Every week. Okay, next we have the month words. This month, next month, last month, every month. And the actual word for month is very similar to the word that we've already used for the names of the months. So you'll probably recall January 1月, February 2月, March 3月, and so on. So you know 月, and this can either be confusing or actually helpful because the form of month that we're going to use with this month, last month, and so on is actually 月. So 月, that's the name of the month, but 月 is actually the word for month that we're going to be using in this pattern. It's also the word that we've learnt for Monday, 月曜日. So we're sticking with that Monday pronunciation of moon rather than the pronunciation we use for the months of the year. So 月, 月. And we're going to start again with Kon, our friend Kon. And we've got this month,
今月、今月、
Now, I'm sure you recall that this week we were wearing con shoes, weren't we? That was con shoe. But later on this month, when we're finished with con shoes, then Kon gets his shoes back. So Kon gets this month. Kon gets Kon's going to get his shoes back. Now, next month starts in the same way as next week with dai. Dai. But instead of dai shu, it's
来月、来月、
Now for this mnemonic, we can use the same image of lying down and taking a rest because we all know how busy we are. And next month, we're going to have a good old lie down. And when we've had our lie down, that's what's going to get us going after that. And we're going to be okay again. So a lie down gets you going. That's for next month. Okay, next month, we're going to plan ahead. Got a nice holiday because a lie down gets you going.
来月、来月、
Now, last month starts with the same beginning portion as last week. And if we remember last week, that's when we asked Kon to send the shoes. Remember, it was sen shu, sen shu. Well, we use the same sen for last month, and it becomes
先月、先月、
Fortunately, with the every month, it uses the same beginning portion as every day and every week. So we remember every day is 毎日, every week, 毎週, and every month, 毎, but not 月. We have to change now because this is the exception to 月.
毎月、毎月、
Every month. Now that 月 portion sounds a little bit like 好き, to like. So perhaps we can remember that we like every month because everyone has a birthday every month. So why wouldn't you like months? They're great. 毎月, 毎月, every month. Next we have the years, and we're going to imagine that we're in 2014, so 2014年. And then we're going to learn the word for this year. Now with the year group of words, you've got 2 of one pattern and 2 of the other. Now the word for this year starts the same way as this week and this month. So if you remember, this week was konshu and this month was kongetsu. So it began with that kon sound. Well, we're going to take the ko from that and then we're going to add toshi and we get kotoshi, kotoshi. So that's this year. Then we're going to go straight on to every year because it's the same pattern. So every year begins with that mai. Mai is every year. Remember my shoes, it was all about, wasn't it? And we're going to add again that same toshi. So mai toshi. Mai toshi. So if you can remember, toshi means year and mai is the one for every, so that makes that quite easy, doesn't it? Mai toshi. So that just leaves next year and last year. Now, next year starts the same way as next week and next month, in other words, with that lai, only we're going to be pronouncing the year part nen, which is a pronunciation you should be familiar with, for example, a primary school first year student. Remember we learnt shogaku ichi nen sei, so that nen means year. So we get lai nen. And again, if a lie down is good for next month, then a lie down would be great for the whole of next year. So lai nen. Finally, we have last year. Now the nen bit stays the same. That's okay, but we've got a very irregular kyo to begin with, and we get kyonen. So for last year, we have a slightly irregular start to that word. We're still using nen, but we're going to start with kyo. So kyonen. And that's just a little irregular, isn't it? Last year. We're going to finish our video tutorial with this chart, which sums up everything that we've learned in this video. You can see the exceptions have been highlighted in yellow, but otherwise there's a fairly good set of patterns going on there, which should help you remember these very important words.